And you've had a lot of experience with activist investors and a lot of run-ins with them. Can you tell us from your perspective of a CEO what that experience is like and what, if anything, positive has come out of any of those experiences?
I think a lot of positive things can come out of the experiences, but I think the lessons that I've learned as we have had a number of activists in our stock. I think the first lesson that I've learned is that you need to be your own activist. Before these guys show up, you want to make sure you've looked at your business with a critical eye and you understand what you need to do to unlock value. In our case, we were, as we split the company in 2012, we ran into a real slowdown in the macroeconomy, and so we decided that we needed to pivot and focus a lot more in the short term on margin expansion, which is what we did. So I think understanding what your profile looks like, how you fare competitively is a critical piece. The second is to engage with your shareholders even when you don't have to. We have always had an ongoing relationship with shareholders to listen to what they have to say, to listen to their ideas about what we could be doing better. And I think that's really helpful as you think about how someone on the outside might look at your business. The third piece is to engage. I think there are too many companies that get a phone call and they hang up the phone. I think it is most productive. These guys are smart. And they have interesting ideas, and I think it's really productive to be able to engage with them. But last but not least, the other lesson is make sure you're focusing on both the long term and the short term. Sometimes some of the demands and some of the things they're asking for are very much short term focused, and those of us who are running our companies for the long term need to be concerned about which of those actions will be consistent with where we're going for the long term.
And that's something I wanted to ask you about. How do you balance that? You've been the CEO for quite a while, and most generally when these activists come in or other concerns like that, they are like serving the shareholder, which is important, of course, but how do you balance the long-term investments for the company and the other people for the company, the workers and employees and customers? How do you balance the short-term and long-term?
Well, I think that is the art of thinking about resource allocation. In our case, I really firmly believe that the long-term viability of a company is dependent upon having a balance between top-line and bottom-line growth. And so you need to make sure that you're doing what you have to deliver the bottom line, but you're making the investments necessary to make sure that bottom line is sustainable. And I'm very pleased with the fact that we're one of the few companies who has been able to deliver that balance.
And being on the other side of the activist sort of relationship, is there any advice or anything that you could give to activist investors of something that they usually miss as far as unlocking value from being on your side?
No, I think, as I said earlier, I think there's a number of lessons that I have learned, and I think the single biggest disconnect I have found is that many activists simply sit in conference rooms and do calculations and analyses independent of the reality of the fact that we are dealing with human beings and people's lives, and some of the actions that one might want to take in overhead reduction, for example, can't be executed at the drop of a hat. We have a sizable business, for example, in Europe. And there, one has to consult with works councils before we can make any changes to the overhead population. And so understanding some of those dynamics, I think, are critical in terms of looking at the feasibility of some of the ideas that any one of us might want to pursue.